All right, so we are talking about solving system of equations with graphing. Okay, solving system of equations with graphing. All right, and ultimately, when we solve system of equations with graphing, all that we are really doing, okay, all that we are really doing is um, taking two equations, right? We have two equations for number one, right? We have our first equation here, and then we have our second equation. And all we are doing is graphing these two equations, and we want to find out where they intersect, right? So to solve each system, we want to find where the two lines intersect. That's what you want to find. You want to find the point where the two lines intersect. Okay, that's our goal. That's what you're trying to find. So what we have to do is we have to take these two equations and we have to graph them. Now these equations are in slope intercept form, right? They are in slope intercept form, which is y equals mx plus b, right? M is my slope. And remember, your slope is a fraction, okay? Your slope is always a fraction. It represents the change in y over the change in x. And b is your y-intercept, right? B is your y-intercept, and that is always an ordered pair where x is 0 and then b is the y value, okay? So that's kind of important information for us to know. So we take our first equation, uh, y equals negative 4x minus 2. Okay. Our slope is negative 4. And remember, that means that it's a fraction, right? So that would be negative 4 over 1. Our y-intercept is always an ordered pair. X is always 0. The y value is negative 2. Right? So, like I said, this right here is your y-intercept, and then the coefficient being multiplied by the x, that is your slope. So we have what we need in order to graph this equation, okay? We have what we need in order to graph this equation. We have a point, so 0, 2, that's going to be right here. And then the graph says that the slope says that it's negative 4 over 1, which means I go down 4 and to the right 1. Okay. I'm trying to find a place to put this, right? For your slope, right? For your change in y, for your slope. So you have your slope, your change in y, right? Whether it is your change of x, right? If it's positive, it goes up. If it's negative, it goes down. For your change of x, if it's positive, it goes to the right. And if it's negative, it goes to the left. Okay, this is all review, just giving you these review, right? And so my slope is negative. So the negative 4, it goes down. 1, 2, 3. Oh, it doesn't continue, right? The graph doesn't go down 4. What do I do? Well, there's more than one way to get to negative 4 if I use a fraction, right? Negative 4 over 1 is negative 4, but 4 over negative 1 is negative 4 as well. And this says that I go up 4 and to the left 1. So I'm going to go up 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. To the left 1. That's right here. Okay. And then I get my straight edge or my ID badge or ruler, whatever it is that you have. Okay. And I am going to draw a line. And the way that I'm drawing a line is going to be different from the way that you draw the line, because I need to almost draw like 2 rays in order to get this line how I want it. All right. So your line will look much better than mine. Your line is going to look far better than mine is, because you're going to take your ruler or your straight edge, draw it from end to end, just like I did here. Okay, I wanted mine to be sort of kind of correct, so it probably would have been better if I just did one line. I'll try that on the next one. All right, and then now we're going to flip over, and now we're going to do the second line. We're going to do the exact same thing. We're going to say y equals 2x plus 4. Well, my y-intercept is 0, negative 0, 4, positive 4. That is here. My slope is 2 over 1, which means I'm going to go up 2 and to the right 1. I can't go up 2 and to the right 1 because it's not on the graph, so that means I need to do the opposite. To get a positive 2 with a fraction, either they both have to be positive or they both have to be negative, right? So that would be negative 2 over negative 1, which means I'm going to go down and to the left, down and to the left. So I go down 2 to the left 1, that puts it right here. Down 2 to the left 1, that puts it right there. Down 2 to the left 1, it puts it right there. Down 2 to the left 1, and it puts it right there. That gives me my final. So I'm going to take my straight edge. This line is going to be, truthfully, a little bit better looking than the other one. Draw it all the way through. Draw it all the way through. There you go. And I'm going to draw my little arrows. Arrow. Arrow. Okay. What do you notice about these two lines? Okay, one of them's got a positive slope, one of them's got a negative slope. Gotcha. What else do we notice? What else do we see when we look at this graph? What do we see? They intersect, right? That's what we're looking for, is where they intersect. Where do they intersect? Where do they intersect? Remember, it's your x coordinate and then your y coordinate. Where do they intersect? Negative 1 up to positive 2. Negative 1, 2. So I'm going to say, well, down here, right? Negative 1, negative 2. And I'm going to put it in a box because that's my answer. Okay? Last thing I need to do is this. Let's say that you did not use two colors like I did. All right, let's say you didn't use two colors to justify what line is what. Let's say you used your pencil. You need to label your lines. So I'm going to come right here and say this is y equals 2x plus 4. And I'm going to come over here and say that this is y equals negative 4x minus 2. And I'm going to label my lines. All right, so that way whoever looks at this knows that those are the lines. This is how I'm saying they graph. And then that is where I believe that these two intercept. Okay? All right. Let's look at number 2. 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 All right, let's look at number 2. Go up here. So I can slide. I need to slide this over. All right, number 2. Okay, so we're going to do the same thing, right? For this one, for number 2, right? Our first equation here, I'm going to use. I'll use black for that one. What is our slope? Our slope is -1/4, right? It's -1/4, but I got to give the negative to something. I'm not giving it to both because if I gave it to both, it would make it positive, right? So that means I'm going down 1 and to the right 4. Or it could be 1, -4, where I have to go up 1 and to the left 4. The way that you remember this is, again, remember slope is your change in y over your change in x, right? Is that if you go from the origin, you go to the right, it's positive for x. You go to the left, it's negative for x. From the origin, if you go up, y is positive. From the origin, if you go down, y is negative, okay? And lastly, my slope, my y-intercept is 0, 1. So I go to 0, 1, draw my first point. I'm going to go down 1 to the right 4, down 1, 1, 2, 3, 4. We'll go right here. I'm going to go up 1 and to the left 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Could I have drawn this line with 2 dots? Yeah. Could I draw an even better line with 3 dots? Yes. Okay. So I can take and I can use my straight edge, right? I can take and I can use my straight edge. Let me guesstimate and run this through, and I'll change it to make sure it fits. I can change that here. Well, there you go. So that way it goes through. And then I draw my lines. You're using your ID badge or a ruler, a straight edge that you might have. You should be able to one swipe, line up all 3 dots, draw your line all the way across. And now we're going to do the second equation. I'm going to do it in blue. All right, I'm going to do the second equation in blue. Whatever color you choose to do it as, that's fine. If you're not choosing to do a color, remember to label your equations, okay? Remember to label your equations. So this is saying my slope is 1/2, which means I go up 1 to the right 2, or I'm going down 1, and because it's negative, -2 means I'm going to the left 2, okay? And then my y-intercept will be 0, 4. So I go to 0, 4, which is right there. I go up 1 to the right 2. That puts me there. Can I keep going up 1 and to the right 2? Nope. So go back to your original and go down 1 and to the left 2. That puts it there. Can I draw a line with 3 dots? Absolutely. I'll draw a really good line. But you know what? Can I go down 1 and over 2 again? Yeah. Which means I now have 4 dots, which is going to make my line even easier to draw. Okay. So that's why I go through and I do as many dots as I can, because it just makes my line that much easier to draw. I may even get this one. This might even look good here because of where I chose to start from. Actually, I'm going to have to move this part down. I stopped it. Let's put it there. I don't know why that's popping up. And put that one there, and that keeps popping up. That's okay. And we're going to say here. All right, so draw my lines here. I'll draw my line there. And again, all I'm looking for is where does this intersect? Okay, it intersects right here, right? That is where it intersects. All right, that is where it intersects. And so that is going to be my answer, right? At -4, +2. -4, +2. So down here, I'll put -4, +2, and then I will box it so that way I know it's the answer. If you didn't do this in multiple colors, you need to take, and again, like I've said, you need to label which equation is which. Okay? All right, so moving on to number 3. Moving on to number 3. Again, we got our two equations, right? We have our two equations. We need to identify the slope and the y-intercept from the first equation. There is one x here, okay? So that means in front of this x, there is a number 1, okay? Because there is one x. So that means when I do my slope for this first equation, my slope is 1/1. Okay, it's going to be a +1/1. My y-intercept, right? X is always 0, and my y value is the constant, which is right here, +3. So that would be 3. So I go to 0, 3, which is here. My slope is I go up 1/1, which is here. Up 1/1, which is here. I ran out of room, so what do? I go back to the beginning, and I then do the opposite. Instead of going up 1 into the right 1, I now go down 1 into the left 1. Because as you can see, right, with this fourth dot, I'm continuing the line. Down 1 to the left 1. I'm just continuing this line, drawing these dots until I'm done with the graph. Could I have drawn a line with 2 dots, 3 dots, 4 dots, 5 dots, 6 dots? Yes. Draw all of them. That makes the line even easier. Okay? That makes the line even easier for you to draw. Makes the line even easier for you to draw. There's that line there. And again, it continues, right? I'll draw my arrows because it continues. As poorly drawn as those arrows are. And then I will do my second one. I kind of bleeded into my work area there, but that's fine because my slope, here I'll change to blue. My slope is 6/1, and my y-intercept is 0, -2. So I go to 0, -2, which is right there. And I'm going to go up 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 to the right 1, which will put it right there. Now I can look at the graph and I know I am not going to be able to go down 6. So these 2 points is all I have to work with. So I use these 2 points and make sure that I have a line that goes through with my straight edge or my ruler or my ID badge that goes through both of those points. Goes all the way through the graph, going through both of those points. And now all that I'm looking for is where do they intersect? They intersect right here. Right, they intersect right there at, and again, remember you're doing an ordered pair, right? You're doing an ordered pair right there. They intersect right here at, your ordered pair is your X and then your Y, 1, 4. So I'll do 1, 4 over here. I'll box it so that way I know that, hey, that's my answer. 1, 4. If you are, as we've said multiple times, if you are using one color, you need to label everything. So this one is Y equals X plus 3. This one is Y equals 6X minus 2. Make sure that you are labeling your lines. All right, so looking at our last example that we'll look at today, problem number 4. We identify for the first one our slope, which again is the coefficient of x. The slope is the coefficient of x. It's not x, it's the coefficient of x, right? It's 1/2, which means I'm going up 1 and to the right 2, right? I'm going up 1 and to the right 2, or the opposite. I'm going down and to the left. And my y-intercept is 0, -2. So I graph these, 0, -2. Goes right there. I go up 1 to the right 2. Up 1 to the right 2. I can go down 1 into the left 2. Down 1 into the left 2. That's going to give me 5 really good points to draw a really nice and easy and simple line. And it moved whenever I tried to set it. There you go. All right, so there's that line there. And let me look at the next one, right? The next one is going to be my slope is 3/2. And my y-intercept is 0, -4. So 0, -4 puts it here. I'm going up 3, 1, 2, 3 to the right 2. That puts that right there. Up 3, 1, 2, 3 to the right 2. That puts it right there. Draw your line. Take your ruler, your straight edge, your ID badge. Draw your line. All right, we're looking to see where do they intersect. They intersect right there. Again, my ordered pair is my X and then my Y. That is 2, -1. All right, so I'm going to say 2, -1, and I'll put a box around it because that is my answer. Okay. Again, if you're doing one color, identify your lines. This is y equals 1/2 x minus 2. And then this other line up here is y equals 3/2 x minus 4. Okay. You want to make sure that you identify, all right, your two lines, and you're finding where they intersect. Okay. You find where they intersect. This worksheet has 4 more problems on the back that I need you to work on. And if you have any questions, please let me know.